Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and thank you for tuning into a brand new episode of The Nation Wants to Know. I'm Deepti Sachdeva. Sanjay Raut is asking that I'm not sure whether the Chief Justice of India, CJI Chandrachud, will be able to give us justice. Why is he confused or why is he raising this entire doubt? I want to bring up this video that you see on your screens. This video is just about 30 to 33 seconds. That is it. But this entire video today has got the entire India alliance rattled. More so, parties of, the state of Maharashtra that is looking at elections. Because they believe that this is a clear example of lines getting blurred when it comes to separation of power between the executive and the judiciary. They are raising questions today on the integrity of the Chief Justice of India. How fair is that? Now, this is about the Ganesh Puja. And just think of this. Ganesh Chaturthi is a festival that a lot of people celebrate. For 10 days, you have a lot of friends, family, a lot of people that keep coming to you, keep, participating in this puja. Likewise, the Prime Minister did. What is so controversial about this? And if this is controversial, a lot of people are asking what happened when the Congress in 2009 hosted an iftar party that again saw the presence of the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh along with the then CJI. And we must make it very clear that a lot of other leaders were invited, including leaders from the opposition. The LOP, then Lal Krishna Advani, was also present. Now, this is that entire hypocrisy that is getting exposed. But do remember, this raises a lot more questions. And also, why should the opposition today be casting aspersions on the judiciary, on the CJI himself? Or is this an attempt to also pressurize the CJI? Because there are big verdicts expected in the next few weeks, the next few days, also related to the state of Maharashtra. First up, let's begin by looking at what the problem really is. String of reactions that have come in both from the BJP and from the opposition that again tell you that is this just, a needless controversy or there is more to this story. I want to also then tell you that we have a reaction that has come in from Kapil Sibal, who's the president of the SCBA, who says that the Prime Minister should not have publicized this. So is the problem that this particular video has come out? And does this video coming out also not tell us that there is transparency today? Because for a moment think, if the Prime Minister goes and visits the CJI at his residence, what if these pictures were not released? And these pictures get released by the Prime Minister himself. So is there politics really in this entire story, in this video that is just about 33 seconds? Or there is clearly an apprehension by the opposition parties right now, particularly in the state of Maharashtra, of perhaps a verdict that could change the course of their politics. Let's quickly bring up reactions first up for you to tell you where do different political parties and their representatives stand on the issue.
The Prime Minister of India should never have shown his interest to go to such a private event. Because the Prime Minister and those he must have consulted should and must have told him that this may send a wrong signal. Because the issue is not individual, the issue is what impact such a clip has on the minds of people.
जब मनमोहन सिंह जी देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे और उस समय के चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया उसमें गए इफ्तार पार्टी में, उससे किसी को कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, क्योंकि इनको अपीसमेंट पॉलिटिक्स, तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के अलावा कुछ दिखता ही नहीं है। पर हमने उस पर भी कभी आपत्ति नहीं जताई, क्योंकि हर धर्म के त्योहारों को मनाना यही तो हिंदू धर्म की विशेषता है।
संविधान के रखवालदार इस प्रकार से अगर राजनीतिक नेताओं से मिलते हैं तो लोगों के मन में शंका है।
शायद यह आपत्ति चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया और प्रधानमंत्री के मिलने से नहीं है, यह आपत्ति गणपति पूजा से है।
Judiciary has to remain independent. Then he should invite leader of opposition also. Why only the Prime Minister?
2009 में उस समय के तत्कालीन प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी थे, उस समय के चीफ जस्टिस बालकृष्ण जी थे, वे मनमोहन सिंह जी के इफ्तार पार्टी में गए थे, उस समय लोगों ने हंगामा नहीं मचाया।
When the Supreme shows signs of surrender, the nation will appear to suffer.
During the time of Ganesh Chaturthi, we all go to each other's house for participating in the Ganesh Puja. This is part of our culture and Sanskriti. Even something like a puja has been made a crime and politicized.
Some people think it is inappropriate on the part of Prime Minister to go and participate in a religious function or in a private function in the residence of Chief Justice.
They had no issues when the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh during his tenure had invited delegates in which Chief Justice of India had also participated in the iftar party. They precisely have issues because the Prime Minister in his individual capacity and the Chief Justice of India in his individual capacity were performing a Ganpati Aarti.
So is this manufactured outrage? Is this a manufactured controversy? Let's quickly say good evening to our panel of guests joining us. It's a pleasure to have Ujjwal Nikamji, who's a special public prosecutor on the show with us, is also RP Singh Sab, the national spokesperson of the BJP. Abhishek Sudhir is a political analyst, and also Ratnakar Tripathi is leader of the Congress. And gentlemen, with your permission, I just want to spend a moment talking to Ujjwal Nikam because, you know, I just want to look at this entire issue not politically but also legally. Now, Ujjwal Nikamji, who else but you to tell us that, do you see a problem in this particular video? The Prime Minister at the CJI's residence for the Ganesh Chaturthi Puja. Should this be any kind of problem? Is this a problem when it comes to the separation of powers?
Frankly speaking, I don't think that there is any problem in such meeting and such invitation. We have to keep in mind it's a personal invitation given by Dr. CJI Chandrachud to Mr. Narendra Modi. But now since they are holding a highest position in law as well as in the administrative, then certain people are raising objection totally baseless and without any rational foundation. Number one, is there any code or moral conduct on the part of either of the president or on the part of the Chief Justice? I would say that in Maharashtra, it's a culture because fortunately, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court hails from Maharashtra, and therefore he must have invited personally. And so what's wrong if Mr. Narendra Modi had gone there and prayed the Aarti before the Ganpati Bappa? So I don't think that we should not make much capital of it. But unfortunately, now in our country, every action, either of the Chief Justice or of the Prime Minister, is looking with the jaundiced eyes. So I think this must be stopped. It's a purely personal meeting.
Okay, sir, allow me to quote what Indra Jaisingh earlier has tweeted. She says the Chief Justice of India has compromised the separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary. She says lost all confidence in the independence of the CJI. The SCBA must condemn this publicly displayed compromise of independence of the CJI from the executive. What are your thoughts?
I don't agree that by such meeting or visiting the house of the Chief Justice, there is any compromise. See, we have to keep the personal relation apart from the statutory duties and the legal duties cast upon the highest chair of the law or the administration. So I don't think, I don't agree with what Indira Jaisingh has said.
Okay, and what about the netas? What about the politicians? Because Sanjay Raut has actually said, will the CJI be able to give us justice? He's alluding to that all-important case that is expected, you know, vis-a-vis the state of Maharashtra. Ujjwal Nikamji, how do you read that? Is this, you know, also an attempt to put the CJI under pressure? Because whatever the verdict will now be, you know, there is a handle that the opposition gets to say, look, we told you so.
On the contrary, I would say that by raising such doubt, we are putting and creating doubts about the credibility and integrity of the Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. I may remind you that in 1993 bomb blast case, similar issue had occurred. The ex-Union Law Minister, Mr. Shanti Bhushan, had filed an application in the bomb blast code, because I have conducted that trial, and that bomb blast trial court venue was an Orchard Road jail. Therefore, the court staff, when it was created for the first time for the trying the case of 93 bomb blast, the court staff had arranged a Satyanarayan Puja, and the judge was invited for Satyanarayan Puja. Then Shanti Bhushan flown from Delhi to Mumbai and filed an application that the judge of the Bombay bomb blast case should recuse from that case because most of the accused are the Muslim. I strongly objected that don't underline the credibility and integrity of the judge of the bomb blast case.
Yes.
And I must tell you that ultimately that was rejected application even by the Supreme Court. But ultimately, even the judge took look at, with impartially. He has discharged many accused. He has bailed out the many accused. So these people have not raised any objection later on. So we are creating such a atmosphere in our country so that we can create a doubt about the statutory bodies of our country.
Okay. All right. It's always been a pleasure, Ujjwal Nikamji, to speak to you. Look forward to talking to you again, sir, as we return back to our panel of guests, and thank you to all of them for their patience. RP Singh Saab, let's begin by asking you a question today that the opposition has been asking. They are saying, why did the Prime Minister, go there? Was he invited alone? Were there leader of the opposition and other dignitaries also invited? Do we have any idea, Singh Saab?
I'm very sorry. I mean, this is what sort of question it is, because it's up to the Chief Justice or the person who's conducting the puja at his residence, up to him to decide whom he has to invite, whom he has not to invite, or whom he has invited or whom he has not invited. So it's very personal. I mean, I'm shocked today doing a puja, Ganesh Chaturthi puja, saying Ganpati Bappa Moria has become a crime. I mean, you're asking questions like that. Oh, who all were where? Who all were invited? This is shocking. But the bigger question is that issue is not that he has been invited for a puja. Give me a second. Issue is not that he's been invited for a puja. The problem is that why for Ganpati puja? Why for Ganesh Chaturthi? That's the problem. I mean, they never raised question on any such event which happened earlier, not only with the Manmohan Singh ji, even with Justice, President, earlier President Hajatullah Sahab, Zakir Hussain Sahab, or Vice President Hamid Ansari Sahab. They would have also held many iftar parties at their place, at the President House, the Vice President House, and a lot of guests would have been there. No one asked them, what is your guest list? Declare your guest list. Whom you have invited, whom you are not invited. But there's another question. Now, whole of this is being prepared to build up a pressure on judiciary and then ensure that, and it's not the first time. I mean, the Congress has been ongoingly doing this.
Okay, so Singh Saab is raising a big charge, and I see merit there. Ratnakar Tripathi, why don't you respond to that so that we get everyone? Singh Saab, we'll go one by one. You've raised a good charge. I'll get Ratnakar Tripathi ji to respond to this. So Ratnakar Tripathi ji, what is the problem with this video? Is the problem that you have the Prime Minister participating in a Ganesh Puja like RP Singh Saab has said? Or the idea is also to put the CJI under pressure, and you're doing this by design?
You can think whatever you want. The thing is that you put Ujjwal Nikamji, interviewed him. Now, Ujjwal Nikam was the Lok Sabha candidate of BJP from Mumbai South, North Central. He lost. So I didn't expect anything other to say. I have high regards for his legal acumen. After leading election, he became special public prosecutor. Now let me come to the point. No, we don't have any objection. He goes to any place. If he does Ganpati Puja, everybody does. Who believes in Ganpati does Ganpati Puja. Now the thing is that the Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. A public personality, a judicial person shouldn't do anything which attracts negative attention or puts him under scrutiny. And in my opinion, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud has been a victim of political conspiracy. He didn't release the video. I listened to you, I heard you. You said he went there, Modi ji, and he performed puja and came back. It's not a full video. Had we had any suspicion, we could have said कि ठीक है उसके बाद जब वो बैठे उन्होंने क्या किया? The video doesn't show that Modi is entering, performing puja and coming back.
No, what is the problem, Ratnakar ji? What are you alleging?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying they are. I'm a student of law from Banaras University, a scholarship holder. There are many unwritten norms and there are many undrawn lines which one has to respect.
So do you believe that the CJI, let's cut the chase. Let's cut the chase. Ratnakar ji, do you believe that the CJI can be influenced so easily?
Deepti ji, 10 seconds, I have completed. CJI is CJI since 9th November 2022. This is the second Ganpati Puja. We didn't see Modi there in the first one. And the function which you were quoting of Manmohan Singh, that was a public function. CJI Balkrishnan attended, LOP Larkesh Advani attended, many political and judicial stalwarts attended. So that was a public function. This is a private function. And the question is there, has he been so much a devotee of Ganpati? He would have gone earlier. In 23, he didn't go there.
Ratnakar ji, people will ask you so many questions. I mean, Abhishek, let's put this entire story into context. Had this video not come out, had the Prime Minister himself not put out these images, Ratnakar ji, no one would have known that this meeting happened. Then?
That is what.
So how can you allege that this is a government that is not being transparent? If they were not wanting to be transparent, the idea like, you people allege is only to influence, they would have not released these pictures only.
What has he released? Performing puja with D.Y. Chandrachud ji.
So is that a problem?
No, there is a problem.
What is the problem?
D.Y. Chandrachud ji has become a victim of political conspiracy. And there is question. Prabhu Shriram, he didn't doubt it. Sita ji, but what did he do? He abandoned her and sent him to forest. Just because...
I'll get Singh Saab to respond to this charge now. Singh Saab.
Somebody said, did he doubt Sita? No.
No, Ratnakar ji, I don't think you've understood, you haven't understood the merit of this entire debate because this is far bigger than the politics of this. No, you are casting aspersions on the CJI and you're trying to tell us that, listen, the CJI can get influenced that easily. That is also equally problematic. RP Singh Saab.
I told you, Deepti ji. No.
Allow him to respond, RP Singh.
Deepti,
yes.
Ratnakar ji, सुनिए एक बार. रत्नाकर जी एक मिनट. रत्नाकर जी सुनिए ना, मेरा नाम आरपी सिंह है, आपका नहीं है. 1952 से 57 तक केएस हेगड़े साहब कांग्रेस पार्टी के राज्यसभा के मेंबर पार्लियामेंट थे. And he was made the judge of the Supreme Court in 1967 by the Congress party. Not only that, Justice Bahrul Islam was Rajya Sabha member parliament 62-68. He was made the judge of the Supreme Court in 1972. And after he retired in 1982, he was again made the Rajya Sabha member from the Congress party, not the nominated ones, from the Congress by the Congress party. So you have no right to talk about judges. And again, please, why do you have so much allergy with Sanatan? Why do you have so much allergy with Ganpati ji? Why do you have so much allergy with which is a festival which is celebrated, or a cultural festival which is celebrated from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Assam to Gujarat today?
Okay.
We are shocked.
Let me get in Sajid also. He's now with us. He represents the Shiv Sena UBT on the show. And Abhishek, I do know that you also haven't spoken, but I'll get in Sajid very quickly here first up. Sajid, Sanjay Raut ji kehte hain ki will CJI be able to give us justice? I mean, either the party believes that the CJI can get influenced that easily. You do not, believe in his own credentials. And you are casting aspersions on him. How fair is that, Sajid?
One thing I will tell you, man, nobody is stopping anybody from praying or doing puja. It is the right time. Was this the right time? Wasn't it unconstitutional to just
what is
go
unconstitutional
to the
about this?
Chief Justice of India's house and perform puja on the Ganpati When you are using religion also for your own selfish purpose, when the case is going on against the government, right now the central government is having so many cases lined up. And how could anybody just go and pray just because they want to fulfill their political ambitions? And just for their own personal greed.
Sajid, that is a charge.
It's a mockery of democracy.
Sajid, that is a charge. Now, see, what you also do is that you put the CJI under pressure. This is what we were discussing before you joined the show. And you want to portray him as a villain already. Are you scared? Are you fearful of the kind of verdict that possibly could come in vis-a-vis the Maharashtra issue?
So you also believe that going to somebody's house and performing puja will affect the decision of the court?
No, it is what Sanjay Rautji thinks. We don't think like that. See, because everyone has a personal and a professional life. If you believe that we as individuals, Sajid, are not able to distinguish between our personal and our professional lives, then that possibly is problematic.
Going personal is a different thing, but when your own government is running a case in the Supreme Court right now, the timing was wrong. Personally, he could have gone to any
okay, let me get it, Abhishek. How do you see this, Abhishek? Do you see this as highly problematic?
Deepti, what I see as highly problematic is the hypocrisy of the India Alliance. Let me give you some names. These are all constitutional functionaries as well. They hold constitutional offices. Rahul Gandhi, Arvind Kejriwal, Tejasvi Yadav. What do these leaders have in common, Deepti? Can I tell you? They're all Hindus. And one more point. They all have worn white skull caps and performed namaz. When India Alliance leaders perform namaz, India Alliance leaders perform namaz, they become secular. But when two Hindus carry out a Ganesh Aarti, they become communal. When two Hindus who happen to be constitutional functionaries carry out a Ganesh Aarti, they became communal. But when Hindus wear a white skull cap and perform namaz, Deepti, they're secular. Look at the hypocrisy at play. Deepti, I didn't interrupt this man. Please allow me to speak.
Sajid, you let him please complete, then you can come in. And I also tell you what Kapil Sibal has said. You know, Abhishek, he's also said, why publicize such events? Was that done with a particular agenda or an ulterior motive?
Right. And when Tejasvi Yadav wears a skull cap and performs namaz, when UBT leader goes to Muslim areas and asks for votes from minority vote banks and publicizes it, when Arvind Kejriwal wears a white skull cap and performs namaz and publicizes it, we have all the pictures. Rahul Gandhi meets with Ilhan Omar, known India hater, India baiter, who has visited Pakistan, who has visited Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, who has spoken against India, and Rahul Gandhi publicizes it. What has happened here? Let me be the judge of what is constitutional and not. I have 3 law degrees, all from the United Kingdom. I teach law in an Indian university. I've practiced in the Indian courts. I've written a book on the Constitution. Separation of powers, yes, the executive must be separate from the judiciary. When Chief Justice Chandrachud gave a judgment in the electoral bonds judgment, he became secular. When Chief Justice Chandrachud was part of the Ram Janmabhoomi judgment, he became a Hindu. You attack the identity of the judge based on your convenience. Bal Gangadhar Tilak today would be horrified that Ganapati Bappa, that Ganesh Ji, Siddhi Vinayak, all the names that we have for Lord Ganesh, right? The man who gives us Sadbuddhi, the Lord of knowledge, our God of knowledge, the man that Bal Gangadhar Tilak started to worship so that we Hindus could come together, the man that the Hindu Hriday Samrat Bala Saheb Thackeray glorified, the Lord that he glorified today, his son, and the leaders of his son's party, for a few minority votes, are bringing in the right of Hindus, and not just Hindus, a Maharashtrian and a Gujarati, to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi together.
Okay, Abhishek has taken this debate to another new level. I just don't have the time, Sajid, but I will let you respond for 5 seconds. Is that the real problem? You have the problem with the Ganesh Puja there.
It is so pathetic to think like that. Why are we mixing religions? Why are we?
You can cast aspersions on the CJI. You can cast aspersions on the CJI. That is not pathetic. But if Abhishek raises a concern, that becomes pathetic.
1 minute. Let me complete. I didn't say anything in between.
Take 5 seconds.
Let me complete. First and foremost, Mr. Abhishek said everything which was the BJP's language of dividing the communities. We are not talking about performing the puja or the iftar. I'll show you thousands of BJP leaders wearing skull caps and attending iftars and praying also. I have thousands of photographs I can
No, then what is the problem, Sajid? I still haven't understood what is the problem.
It is not about the religion. It is about the timing of going to the Chief Justice Justice's house to perform the puja. We are not.
But this happens during the Ganesh Utsav, right? It's
Why
the Ganesh
should we go?
Utsav.
When already the case is going against them in the Supreme Court, going to the Chief Justice house is very, very unconstitutional.
Okay, you say this is unconstitutional, though, you know, no one has been able to establish so far that what is unconstitutional about this. Abhishek, apologies. I've completely run out of time, but I'm thanking all of you gentlemen, and we'll track that story very closely of what happens from here on. For the moment, thank you to all of you for joining us.